What's up, guys? Josh here. Today I want to talk about a topic that is really exciting. It's a topic that I found out about, like pretty much right after the previous video, and it's something that I think you guys are really going to like. And, it's something basically like, legit race car. And you have all things, legit race car, it's mainly designed for the track. So it's basically like a track vehicle. This vehicle is really not something you could find just anywhere, and it's something very, very unique. So, this vehicle is a Chevy vehicle. It's about time I talk about a Chevy vehicle on this channel, besides like the reviews and stuff. But all I mainly talk about is like Ford, because that's sort of like that's sort of like all the actions like going on, so to speak. And like some Dodge thrown there and some other brands. But so this video is about the Chevy COPO Camaro. Now the Chevy COPO Camaro is like, basically a legit race car. You can't get them just anywhere. I mean, they're illegal. This car definitely qualifies in the NHRA and Super Stock Eliminators. This car has a carbon fiber hood and a wheelie bar. This car has a carbon fiber hood and wheelie bars. And the trunk mounted weight box and the power chute are optional. Imagine people like seeing like two people drag racing on a highway or wherever, and because people do some crazy stuff in Mexico, and right in front of you just see a parachute just come out and try to slow the car down, if there's any type of, issues going on with the brakes or whatever. Maybe if they're hitting the brakes and they just need something else to stop them, parachute might do. But quite really one of the most unique cars I've ever talked about on this channel. And it doesn't get any more unique than that. Now the Chevy COPO Camaro is a Camaro that's like, legit race car, and it's illegal to drive because of, it's illegal. I don't really know why. I tried to look online, and I couldn't find a specific reason on why it's illegal, but it is. I guess it's, mainly because it's a race car, and it's, it doesn't have, things that, would qualify for it to be, a straight legal car. It's surprising that the Dodge Demon is a straight legal car. Some people say that it should be illegal because it's so fast, but that video is not about that. It's about the Chevy COPO Camaro. So this vehicle is coming out for the 2022 year. Get into a little bit on what the COPO system is. The COPO system that Chevy uses, it's a system where they could, order specific types of vehicles. This was used, back in like, I'd say around like the 60s and so, and a little bit up today, but, back then they would, order it for mainly trucking companies and police departments, to order cars mainly for those industries, build them, for however the industry wants them, and, just specially made for them. And that is what they did. So people in the Chevy industry that were passionate enough to keep the COPO system going, they made, a basically like a Hellcat version of the Camaro, even though it's not, 700 horsepower, which I'll get to the horsepower very shortly, but it is like the sort of like along the lines of what the ZL1 is, but it's just a little bit different. And this COPO method that they got going on, quote unquote, from Chevy, gives a nod to a production method that was used by dealers in the 60s. So that's, something that Chevy is very proud of, and that's something that, they are proud to stand by. So the system would basically allow, the industry to develop high-performance cars that you can't get elsewhere, like pretty much like from the factory, which the COPO built facility is in Oxford, Michigan. And I heard something about like, I think like buyers could get like a tour of the facility, which is like really awesome. Imagine just like seeing like those vehicles get built from the ground up. That's like it's got to be a really amazing experience, especially if, like that's what you love and you're just seeing it, be born essentially. So that's really cool. Now Chevy didn't include any specific, power ratings that this engine's going to have, but the NHRA, which is the National Highway Rod Association, got some numbers. This vehicle is going to have 3 types of the V8. It is going to have a Giganda 572 cubic inch 9.4 liter V8. Man, what a gas guzzling thing that sounds like. I'm pretty sure it's, not going to have the best gas mileage, but, who the heck is going to care when they're enjoying the power that that thing has to offer. Now, it is available with 2 small block V8s as well. It's got the 350 cubic inch, 580 horsepower, 5.7 liter, and the 427 cubic liter inch with 470 horsepower and 7.0 liter. So 7 liters. So as far as I know, I didn't say the horsepower rating for the 572 because Chevy didn't come out with the horsepower configurations for that. But they said they use a cast iron block with aluminum heads, a forged steel crankshaft and connecting rods, as well as forged aluminum pistons. So this thing is like, nothing to mess around with. So this 572 cubic inch engine is surprisingly the cheapest on the list, starting at $105,550. So this thing is not cheap. This thing is more expensive than the Hellcat, believe it or not. They're like 70, 80,000, but this thing is like 30, 40 grand more than that. And the 427, which is 470 horsepower and 7.0 liter, that starts at $117,500, and the 350 cubic inch start 580 horsepower, 5.7 liter starts at $130,000. So the 350 cubic inch is way more expensive than the 572 inch. I don't really know why, but it is more expensive. You would think that the 572 would be more expensive, but it's not what it said, so that is the case. So the COPO system only limited the vehicle to 69 miles per year, but 2022, they are not going to have a restriction on how much they can make. They can make as many as they want, so that's awesome. So Chevy got the COPO name in 2012, which was, I think, the name got finalized or something like that back then, but they used a system, back in the 60s for the other stuff that they did that I mentioned. And so anyway, all 3 engines are mated to an ATI Racing Production TH4. All engines are mated to an ATI Racing Productions TH400 3-speed automatic transmission that sends power exclusively to the wheels. So it's like kind of, I don't know, it's very unusual to hear of a car, with only, 3 gears, when most cars have like 6 to 8 or even 10 nowadays. So that's really really interesting how a car can be really fast with only 3 gears. There's no 4th gear in there, so I don't know how they pulled that off, but it seems like they did. And so even though this car is illegal, it definitely qualifies as a race car. But I did see that people, some way they registered this car and they're able to legally drive it on the road for whatever reason. I guess they changed up some things, maybe an exhaust of the tires or engine specs. I don't think the engine will really have anything to do with it, but whatever, standards they would have to change to, make it street legal and get their cars legally registered. So customers will have to go to their dealers to find out about tax, registration, and destination charge. So I guess if, you live all the way out in California and they gotta ship the car from Michigan, it might cost a little more in taxes, but I guess, who knows. So it's probably the case, the closer you are, the cheaper it's gonna be. The further you are, more expensive it might be. I don't know, I'm just speculating on that. Maybe it's all the same, but I don't know. It's just kind of something that I'm thinking, based on these details. And yeah, so looking at this car, it has a big, massive hood. When I was looking at a video, it's how do you see out of the thing? It's looking out of a steam engine, how the locomotive engineer have to look, down the track, see the giant nose. But this car, you probably have to be tall enough to not, be squashed like a sardine and not be blinded by the, the big thing in the middle, which is where the engine, would need a little more space. That's why the hood is extended. Kind of, I forget what you call them offhand, but it's a certain type of hood that would allow the engine to stay cooler. Usually there's, little holes. This way the engine can breathe better, ultimately keeping it a little cooler, because, if somebody's racing around the track or driving to Mexico, wherever they're doing, it's going to heat up and, hate to have engine failure in the middle of nowhere, or what have you. But I think this car is like going to be really I think this car is going to be really successful despite, it not really being legal like the Nissan Skyline, but I have really high hopes for it. I think a lot of people are going to be trying to do whatever they can to get their COPO Camaro street legal, because why wouldn't you want to have it street legal? And yeah, it's like something more exciting, since you're hearing me talking about all the electric stuff going on, and surprisingly, from what I saw, it doesn't seem like Chevy's really. I guess they're jumping a little bit on the electric car industry like everybody else, because it's going to soon be the thing, and that is soon, which is what we're all going to have to deal with. But with that, surprisingly, it's good to hear that gas power cars are still going strong and what have you. But yeah, so I think that wraps it up with this video. I would be really be kind of chuckling if I saw a COPO Camaro, driving on the streets. And yeah, so with that, well, that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and turn on post notifications so you do not miss out one of my videos. And with that, I'll see you next time.